The thing
Or
about that area and, psychological stuff and looking at your parents and the patterns and all that, it's it's its only validity really is to get out of identification with personality. That's the only point of it, really. Without that, it's just mind fucking. It's just occupation, not even mind fucking, it's occupation. It's fine. It's just another thing you could focus on. And you can, as we know, get stuck this side of the line and get stuck in your your psychology and looking at patterns. And it's weird because you have to do it. You have to do it in this to be free of your identification. But it's only for that. It's only for that reason. Once you've crossed that line, it doesn't really matter. It matters when you're desperate to understand it and unlock the secret of it. And why am I like this? It matters then, absolutely. But it matters because you're working towards penetrating it and coming out the other side. After that, see, if you're not identified with it, it's just another story. You're not attached to it. And it's weird because, of course, just the other side of the line, it's really important trying to crack it. And you have to kind of go into it. You have to go into the story to get out of it. That's what I'm saying, really. Yeah. So it's that balance all the time in this. It's like you either repress feelings and don't go there and think it's all bullshit, or you become, cut off and dissociated. Yeah. Yeah.
or maybe go into victim mentality where that's
Yeah.
kind of
That's the
what
danger.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's understandable, really, because we were victims, right? Because we had no power and we just didn't have any power. So we were victims, but going into victim mentality as an adult is a different thing. And that's what's required. It's like it's like you're walking this line, you don't fall off the cliff that way or that way. The awareness keeps it as a warrior, using what you have to see and feeling what you have to feel to leave that story behind. Yeah. I mean, as I'm saying that, I think some people will say, oh, it's very bleak and you're kind of, what's wrong with your story, right? So let's be clear. What do we mean by story? I mean, I'm talking about the story of personality and the suffering, really. The story of you, Beyond that is, yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it? It's your life, the way it is, and the parents you had, and the place you grew up. So without the personality bit, there's no problem with your story. uh, really, it's just another bit of the wonder of the mystery, isn't it? So, and it's special because it's your bit of it, right? So when we say story, we're really referring to the story of personality and everything that created that and everything that came out of that. Yeah, that's the distinction there. I think that's why, I take issue with some of the stuff that's out there because they don't make those distinctions. The self is bad, seeking is bad, drop your story. It's like, well, what do you mean by story? It's throwing the baby out with the bathwater often. Is what happens, I think. Yeah, without that choiceless awareness that sees those distinctions. And it's not looking away from all the fuck ups and the damage that was done. But the non-attachment to it means you're not kind of hooked on it or blaming or pulled into emotion about it. And I don't say that lightly because I know, until a certain cut happens, there will be those things, and that's fine. That's why shouldn't there be, until that shift happens. It's the choiceless awareness that takes you on that journey.
Yeah.
Without that, you can't do it. Without that impartial observer. How can you do it? You're still part of the story, so you're
And
not
there doesn't
awake
have
within
to
that
be
dream.
blaming going on at all. Just figuring out, where did it come from? I don't need to
Yeah, well,
dish
the
out
choiceless
blame.
awareness doesn't get into the blame
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, but there may be resentment arising that would cause the blame that would be watched, or there may be blaming arising that would be watched and seeing, oh, look what it produced in me. You see that little gap, you know? It's not that that can't come up. Maybe that's part of what you have to see to get out of it. Because I mean, the danger in all of this is we've all, you know, everyone built this wall, this dam to keep back those feelings, and it's so effective. When you've lived with it so long, and I've said this before, and you're so acclimatized to it, you don't know what you've kept out. You don't know, because it's locked away in the subconscious. So it's like the bricks have to come out of that wall to allow it into your consciousness. And the yearning and the real seeking, real inquiry, is the willingness to remove the bricks and face whatever was walled off.
just love your metaphors.